4, 3, 2, 1.
TrojanVision's The Week That Was, covering the news and events for the week ending on Friday, March 3rd, 2023. I'm your host, Paige Ray. Troy University has closed its Confucius Institute and ended an agreement with its sponsoring institution in China. According to the university, the closure comes amid federal regulations that limit funding to institutions that maintain their agreements with Chinese partners. In a press release, Troy said it will continue to recruit students from China and maintain relationships with Chinese universities, which brings students to the U.S. for 2 years of study. The school says 2 full-time employees and 1 student employee will be transferred to new roles following the closure. Dr. Lance Tatum, Troy's Senior Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, will soon become the next president of Northwest Missouri State University. Tatum joined Troy University as a faculty member in 1998. He went on to serve as Vice Chancellor for Troy's Montgomery and Global campuses. He also served as Dean of the College of Education and Chairperson of the Department of Kinesiology and Health Promotion. According to a press release by Northwest, Tatum will begin his tenure and 3-year contract on June 1st. In other top stories, although President Biden promises to forgive student loan debt, challenges to his plan are being presented to the Supreme Court. Kaylee Wright gives us insight on what students think about that plan and what they think might happen.
The future is uncertain for many college students, but one obstacle they must face is clear, and that is student debt. However, millions of student loan borrowers could receive up to $20,000 of debt relief if Biden's student loan forgiveness plan is approved by the Supreme Court.
I do think it would benefit the vast majority of college students and even people who have graduated recently.
Yeah, it benefited me a lot because, being a college student, student loans is something that I took out.
However, some students are skeptical if it will be approved at all.
But as far as it being passed or anything, I think there are certain levels that he has to go to that I think is probably not constitutional, so it might get overturned.
I don't think the Supreme Court is going to uphold it just because we are looking at a very economically conservative Supreme Court. And while I think that you could argue the constitutionality of it, that how they will see it, they won't believe that it is constitutional.
Others believe that the president is not granted the power to make such a drastic decision. However, the HEROES Act that provided student debt relief to first responders during 9/11 allows aid to be given to individuals during unprecedented times.
The pandemic was unprecedented, so they might rule that, but I don't know. But nothing really gives you the power to give people things.
You could even potentially argue cancel debt for that 2 or 3 year period. But to say, okay, we'll wipe out all debt or $10,000, whatever it is, I personally think that that's quite of dubious value.
Kaylee Wright, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Another concern from students and professors is the fairness of the plan and how it will affect the country as a whole. Experts expect the Supreme Court to announce a decision in June or July. Coming up after the break, the Student Government Association will soon have a new executive board. We'll learn more, so stay tuned.
You got me believing that I can seize the day. You got me hooked on a feeling that I can do anything if I give my heart to it. If I give my heart to
Mom, can we get some ice cream?
Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Welcome back. This week, many students spent time trying to decide who to vote for SGA president. But students may not know what the role of the Student Government Association president actually is. Emma Ellis talked with current SGA president Ava Carnaza to find out more about the role and its importance here at Troy University.
Most students know that Troy University has a Student Government Association, but do you know what its function actually is? The SGA is broken up into 3 separate parts. First, the Freshman Forum.
That is really our freshman-based SGA. We made it so that people can get, or freshmen can get involved, but also adapted to what SGA is.
The next part, the Senate.
The student body elects them as they run, so they have to run an entire campaign.
Any senator can bring an idea to the Senate, whether it be through a resolution or accommodation of someone here on campus, or they can even make amendments to our code of laws that we have, or the Constitution.
The Senate holds meetings weekly on Tuesdays. The final part of the SGA, the Presidential Cabinet.
We meet every other Thursday, but there's many different committees on there. As SGA exec, we are always willing to hear people's opinions, students' opinions, and concerns about the university. We actually love to have students in the office if you just want to grab lunch with us or anything. We are in upstairs TC 215, so stop by anytime and there's going to be someone in here.
And after nearly 2 weeks of campaigning, SGA candidates were left to wait and see how their fellow students would vote. In the end, Theo Tonez garnered enough votes to place him in one of the highest student leadership positions on campus, president. It's a role Tonez says he doesn't take lightly.
I firmly believe that if the Student Government Association exists to serve itself, it's not an effective organization and it really has no point in existing. The point of student government is to serve others, to serve students, and enhance their student experience.
Tonez will remain president-elect until he is officially inaugurated on April 18th. And students didn't just elect a new SGA president. They also voted in several new executive members. Max Cooper was elected executive vice president. Betsy Bennett won vice president of campus affairs. And Allie Price was elected secretary. Right now, the vice president of internal affairs remains stuck in a standoff between Elizabeth McMahon and Mason Baker. That runoff election is set for Monday, March 6th. Still to come on the week that was, the city of Troy and Troy University spent the week organizing events for good causes. We'll show you how coming up.
We all dream, but dreams quickly become distant memories unless we do something about it. Do everything in our power to learn to lead. At Troy University, we teach everyone to be leaders in their field. We're dedicated to teaching a new generation to lead change.
Welcome back. Recently, the people of Pike County tied up their sneakers and hit the track, all in support of heart health. Belle Johnson takes us to this year's Pike County Heart Walk.
Thursday night, the Pike County Heart Board held their annual Heart Walk at the Troy Rec Center gym. This year's walk was held in honor of Dr. Eugene Omasta, who has been a member of the board for more than 25 years. The goal of the Heart Walk is to bring awareness to heart diseases as well as maintaining a healthy heart.
It's to bring awareness to heart survivors, heart issues, strokes. A lot of people are not aware of how many people die a year from heart disease and strokes and things like that. But it's about 1 in every 5 people that you see is going to die from a heart-related issue.
Vendors from many health organizations were stationed around the gym to educate attendants about different health issues. The American Heart Association, the Alabama Department of Public Health, and the nonprofit organization Everything Counts were only 3 of the many vendors.
I am here to support the Heart Walk and to give people education and tell them the benefits of having a healthy heart.
The event also included a plaque ceremony for Dr. Omasta, as well as a presentation of AED machines from the Heart Board to Pike County High School and Pike Liberal Arts School. Of course, the main event of the night was the walking track. The Pike County Heart Association wants people to keep healthy lifestyles. They say walking as little as only 30 minutes a day can help a lot when it comes to maintaining a healthy heart.
You don't have to run or anything. If you just walk for 30 minutes, you would be surprised at how much it's going to help your heart and your overall health.
If you want to learn more about the Pike County Heart Board, you can find them on Facebook.
We just want people to be aware and come out and join us. You can always come to board meetings. We're open to that.
Belle Johnson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Back on campus, this week is Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Week. On Tuesday, the Student Government Association held its 2nd annual Unity Walk to start the occasion.
People and pets from different walks of life kicked off Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Week with a Unity Walk. DEI Week was started by the Student Government Association to celebrate all of the students on campus and let them know that they belong.
The walk is just more of like a representation of what we want our campus to look like. It's all different backgrounds, all different organizations, different people all walking together to just kind of signify what DEI means.
Williams says that diversity is embracing that you are different and embracing the differences of others too.
It's important to have it on a college campus because we're not all the same. We all want to do different things. You have different people coming from different backgrounds. To be able to work together and have a common goal is amazing.
Williams also talked about what equity and inclusion mean to him.
It's just allowing everyone to be heard, be seen within everything that they're doing. I feel like inclusion is important because it's like we all have to go through this life, we all have to go through this college journey, and nobody wants to feel alone.
College can be a challenging time in someone's life, and the SGA does not want a feeling of isolation to keep students from reaching their full potential.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion all mean different things, but they all kind of tie in together. So it's just really allowing representation to happen within all groups on campus.
Thanks, Kaylee. From walking to promote unity to letting off steam via games, students also celebrated DEI Week during Casino Night. Emily Clegg shows us how.
On Wednesday evening, 3 campus organizations partnered up to host a casino night.
Casino Night is a part of DEI Week, which is a part of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Cabinet and SGA, and we decided to partner with them and the Student Alumni Association to host Casino Night.
The goal of DEI Week is to show students the importance of connecting with one another regardless of race or background.
Well, we really just want to get students from all different types of backgrounds, nationalities, and all different types of students just together for one fun night. Casino Night, everybody kind of, just has fun, different types of games, different types of people. So we're just bringing all of our student body together as one.
Some of the activities from Casino Night include a hot meal, hanging with friends, and of course, playing games.
Although this is the Trojan Center and no casino in Vegas, it's safe to say that students that came out to Wednesday night's event had plenty of options as far as games to play. Some of the games behind me include craps and blackjack.
Casino Night was not the only event from DEI Week.
We had movie night Monday, and Tuesday we had the Unity Walk, and tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday we're going to have a TC table set up for a raffle that people can enter.
DEI Week will run until the end of the day on Friday, March 3rd. Emily Clegg, Troy, TrojanVision News.
One of DEI Week's final events includes students writing what diversity, equity, and inclusion means to them. Thursday night, members of the Freshman Forum held a dance marathon for Troy students and dance lovers. Sienna Arnold explains why that event was held in the first place.
Troy University's Freshman Forum is taking a different approach when fundraising for local veterans.
Yes, this is the very first time we've ever done a dance marathon or any type of dance event, so we're very excited to get the ball rolling with this.
Students say they prefer this event because of the easygoing environment.
I've been to a couple banquets here, and it feels like it's a chore to come to stuff like that. Like, it's just boring to pull up in like a suit and everything, and it's more free when this type of stuff feels like a date party kind of.
All profits are being donated to a nonprofit organization for veterans, better known as War Hogs.
And all of our proceeds that we make tonight, all the ticket sales, sponsorships that we've also accumulated, are going to go straight to War Hogs, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization in Dothan, Alabama, and they deal with veterans, first responders, and military who have PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, and other types of physical or mental disabilities.
Freshman Forum president and students say they are grateful for the opportunity to give back to their community.
It's really awesome just to give back to the community, both here and in Dothan.
There's a lot of events that are ran, but I think we don't have enough events that specifically run for veterans.
Freshman Forum thanks everyone who donated and attended this event.
Thank you all for coming out here. Freshman Forum really loves to put on events such as this, just to kind of get the student body out in any way that we can.
Freshman Forum credits the event's success to all the students who decided to participate.
But we also just want to have just a fun, chill night for our students.
Sienna Arnold, Troy, TrojanVision News.
You can learn more about the War Hogs and the Freshman Forum by visiting the Freshman Forum on Instagram and the War Hogs website at warhogs.org. Did you know this week marked the beginning of Women's History Month? Mackenzie Foster spoke with some female students to see what women they look up to.
March 1st is the beginning of Women's History Month. This is a month where people can learn and celebrate the women that have achieved big things. This is also a month where a serious conversation can be had.
It's extremely empowering, and it is a great opportunity to talk about growth and to talk about the indifferences that we as women still face today. It's a great segue into that conversation, and I think we as women need to furthermore raise our voices.
Some female students told us what they think a strong and independent woman is in honor of Women's History Month.
Being a strong, independent woman to me means that you're able to just do what you feel like you have the right to do, going off on your own, doing different stuff that you feel like some people would look down on you for, or just something out of the ordinary, basically, that you just feel confident enough to do.
Just being true to yourself and being who you are, being someone that people can look up to and that's an inspiration to other women across the world.
A woman who is so unapologetically herself, who is absolutely fearless in what she thinks, says, and does, and she does not need anybody to tell her who she is or what she needs to do with her life.
So who do young women look up to? Moms, sisters, professors, and even celebrities are on the long list of people that inspire young women.
Someone who comes to mind is Rosalind Franklin. We actually just discussed her in our microbiology class a few weeks ago, and it just really struck me. She found the molecular geometry structure of DNA, and she went unrecognized for her work and did not receive credit. But it just really inspires me to see how much women in STEM can do.
Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton is somebody that I absolutely look up to. She is just a beautiful soul. Like, she just embodies what it means to be fearless and to be a strong individual.
I definitely would say I look up to my mom, probably the most, literally out of anyone. My mom has just always been there for me, and she's shown me what it means to be strong and independent. She does not let anyone tell her anything. And so she's just really special to me.
Mackenzie Foster, Troy, TrojanVision News.
There will be a celebration for International Women's Day on March 7th. We'll learn more coming up in Trojan Talk. In other news, students who are still searching for a major got to explore all the departments Troy has to offer. It's an annual event that tries to help students take the first step toward their future careers. Jameson Fowler tells us more about this year's Major Exploration Fair.
Wednesday afternoon at Troy University's Lamar P. Higgins Ballroom, Student Career Services hosted a major exploration fair. The fair covered all of the different departments that Troy has to offer.
Today, this is our major exploration fair. We have it every single year on campus, and it is all the departments from the university, majors and minors, come out, and our students are able to walk around and talk to each department to see what they want to choose as their major.
The fair aims to help students with an undeclared major find their way to a fulfilling career.
I want them to get the networking experience, but also learn about what programs we have here, what the class schedules would look like, what classes they would have to take, as well as meet some of the faculty that would be teaching them potentially if they choose that as their major.
Troy professionals from each department hope to give students the clarity they needed in order to find a career to pursue.
With the students today that we're having come in, they have so many different interests, and it can be sometimes very difficult for them to go, what is the one thing I want to focus on?
Students that attended the fair not only got to see what all Troy University has to offer, but also talk with professors in a more relaxed environment.
Here at Troy, that's something that we emphasize, is getting to know the students, and I think in an atmosphere like this, it's just another way to contact and get in touch with one another.
Pieces of advice weren't the only things being handed out. Students walked away from the fair with Troy merchandise, including cups, drink covers, and even some fake pizza.
What I love about this fair is they're all in one room, so it's really easy for them to talk to people and to network instead of having to schedule appointments and email and all of that. So it makes it a little easier for students.
Now armed with a variety of choices, Troy students may now be one step closer to finding their dream job.
Once students decide what major to pick, they'll need to talk with their academic advisor to get the process started. When we return, we're learning more about Women's History Month and the celebration some Troy University staff members are planning. How can you get involved? Stay tuned to find out.
We all dream, but dreams quickly become distant memories unless we do something about it. Do everything in our power to learn to lead. At Troy University, we offer leadership opportunities from day one. We're dedicated to teaching a new generation to lead change. Do you have what it takes to change the world?
Turning to sports news now, the Trojan softball team had a less than desirable Wednesday night. Simon Schussler has the story.
The Trojans took to the field at the Trojan softball complex Wednesday night to a packed crowd filled with energy, which makes sense because the Trojans were set to take on the nationally ranked in-state Auburn Tigers, who came into this game with a 15-1 record thanks to a 13 consecutive game win streak. From the start, Auburn showed why they were ranked, getting 3 runs across in the top of the first. The Tigers would knock in 1 run in both the third and the fourth as well, bringing their lead up to 5. The Trojans wouldn't get their first hit until the bottom of the 4th, thanks to a bloop hit by Ansley Finch into shallow center, and that turned out to be their only hit, as Auburn would tack on 6 more runs in the top of the 7th to top the Trojans 11-0.
You know, Auburn they're really strong, and I'd say they're probably going to be better than number 20 in the country. But you're exactly right. It helps prepare us for the conference to play tough teams, and certainly we didn't play our best tonight, but hopefully in the long run it'll make us better.
Now the Trojans won't have too much time to reflect on this loss, as they will travel to Jacksonville, Florida for a packed weekend of action.
I'm sure as we meet as a team here in a little bit in the lounge that we'll be able to hash some things out. But yeah, this weekend we're right back at it. We leave tomorrow afternoon and play in Jacksonville, and got some good teams that will play there in Florida. And so yeah, regroup and reassemble and pick up the pieces and try to get better from it.
Simon Schussler, Troy, TrojanVision Sports.
Thanks, Simon. With Women's History Month now underway, Troy University is preparing to celebrate women on campus. We'll learn more about this year's Beauty and the Mind event in this edition of Trojan Talk. Hello and thanks for joining us on this edition of Trojan Talk. I'm Paige Ray. Today we have Dr. Wei-Ting Yang, the Interim Director of the School of Music. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course, my honor. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. So we are talking about something that's very exciting, which is a celebration of International Women's Month. And it's something that's still relatively new here on Troy's campus, right?
Yes, this is actually the second year because we started doing it last year. So yes, it's still kind of new.
And this is called Beauty and the Mind.
The title for the project this year is the Beauty and the Mind.
That's cool. So tell me a little bit about this. What can people expect this year?
I think because there's two events.
Okay.
So we focus on the main theme is the beauty. So the event, the music we select, or the poem we select is all associated to this title, Beauty. So for the Tuesday night, March 7th, that would be the performance combined with the music performance and showcase our music faculty from School of Music. And then we also feature 5 female faculty from a different department. They will recite the poem associated with the beauty in their native language.
Oh my gosh, so we're going to hear and see all types of representations of culture at this.
Yes, so as a fact, the language will cover just like we have Spanish, we have English, we have Mandarin Chinese, we have Polish, and we have Indian.
Oh my goodness, we're going all over the world with this, aren't we?
Yeah.
That is awesome. And then you said there's another event too. What's that second one?
The second one will be on Wednesday, which is the International Women's Day.
Oh, okay.
And that will also be held at the International Art Center during lunchtime. It's a panel discussion. It's a discussion of the perception of beauty. And we will show the documentary film about the globalization of beauty, and followed by the panel discussion and the Q&A section.
So obviously this is called Beauty and the Mind, and we're talking a lot about different perceptions of beauty. Why did you guys think that was such an important topic to talk about?
I think, you know what, because we're living in the 21st century, there are so many outstanding female there, and then we got to, it's a connection, we connect together and then show the world what women can do. You know what I mean? Because I think it's, historical points that people always have a kind of stereotype about the women, about the beauty. But now it's, you know what, it's the 21st century that the people talk about. Is it from the different perspectives, different angle. Let's talk about what is the definition of beauty.
And I think that's such an important conversation to have. I mean, we think beauty, and I feel like stereotypically we think appearance and looks, but beauty and women is so much more than that. It has a lot of times nothing to do with appearance.
Exactly. You can go deeper, as deep as you want to go.
So we also are talking about how this is meant to bring not just faculty and staff and students together, but the community as well. So who all is available and welcome to come to this?
I think it's whoever is available, because this is a great opportunity for the Troy University to outreach to the community, to show, to let them know what exactly we are faculty, we students, who actually what we are doing here on campus. And it's the really good way to connect to our community.
And you mentioned too, you know, the poems that are going to be recited in people's languages. We have so many international students here on campus. We are tackling so many different parts in this, the international part, the feminization part of it. There's so much rolled into one.
Yeah, it's like last year when we started to do that, and then we have the faculty to recite the language, the poem in their language, even though we don't exactly understand what exactly the meaning from the poem, but through the way they recite the intonation, the body language, and you know what, the whole thing, it's just a piece of art. It's right there, and it's really touching.
Absolutely. Now, remind me, we're almost out of time, but when do these events happen?
The Tuesday night event is March 7th. The refreshment starts at 6:30, performance start at 7. And then the second event is Wednesday, March 8th. and then start at 12 o'clock. And both events will be held at the International Arts Center.
I'm so excited. Dr. Young, thank you so much for being here. I think this is an awesome event. I'm so excited to see what happens, and I'm sure it's going to be a blast.
Yes, it's really exciting. So we want more and more people to come and join us.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Of course, and thank you for joining us on this edition of Trojan Talk. And that's the week that was. To find out what's happening every day here at Troy University, tune in to Troy TrojanVision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30 Monday through Friday. You can also visit us anytime on our blog at today.troy.edu/TrojanVision. We hope you have a wonderful week, and we hope to see you next time on The Week That Was.